Hello, everybody. Today I just want to um, read for you a short passage from the book Eat to Beat Your Diet that I talked about yesterday. Um, so this is the book. Looks like this. So it's written by Dr. William Li. And the complete name is Eat to Beat Your Diet, Burn Fat, Heal Your Metabolism, Live Longer. And this specific paragraph I want to read to you is about the Asian cuisine. Well, just to tell you a little bit about the background um, of this passage of this citation is that well, the Mediterranean diet is doesn't really exist as we think about it. As I used to think about it, I thought that all the countries in the alongside the Mediterranean Sea eat similar foods, like all the people in Spain or Italy, or they would eat mostly the same, which is not entirely true. And Dr. Lee, for example, gives the example of Greece with its 227 islands that all have different specialty cuisines and maybe cook the foods in a slightly different way. And also that this notion of Mediterranean diet came from a researcher in the American researchers in the 50s who wanted to see whether the diet of some countries was any better than the American diet that already then was focusing too much on ultra processed foods, sodas, and so on. So, knowing that the Mediterranean diet is not really, it's just a concept, but it's not something that is entirely real, doesn't exist as such. Dr. Lee suggests that maybe we should think about Mediterranean diet because he says that many foods from Asia and maybe Central Asia they traveled to the Mediterranean basin countries and vice versa. So this was during many centuries ago, during the Silk Trade road, and that was going from China to Spain, and whereby lots of merchants were traveling, exchanging, and trading their products, and they could be. The name is the Silk Trade, but the suggestion here is that it was not only the silk that traveled and traded, but along with it, there were lots of foods and recipes and fruits and vegetables that traveled from one country to another as people were and tradesmen were interested in selling not only certain things, but they saw the opportunity of introducing and selling produces as well, which I find quite reasonable because, as we see even today, most or many of the foods and veggies and fruits in the supermarkets are not locally produced, but they come from different countries, sometimes many times from different continents. So it's quite reasonable that many of them have traveled uh, along different trade roads. And not only that they travel, but probably even the recipes and the ways they were cooked. Obviously, people maybe didn't know how to cook these new products, these new fruits and vegetables, so they needed to find out how to cook them too and how to eat them. Well, the passage I want to read about now from the book is about the Asian diet. I think maybe the Italian diet is better known to most of us, at least here in Europe. I think maybe the US as well. And we all know that extra virgin olive oil is good for us, that we should eat lots of veggies and fruits and raw foods, and not as much meat and so on. But now that I kind of started talking about olive oil, I have to say that I think people are still a bit unaware of how to cook the foods or how to use the olive oil. And obviously, many of us maybe think about, okay, when we go to an Italian restaurant, we get, or a Spanish one sometime, we get as a starter a little bit of bread, and where we put a little bit of olive oil and maybe a little bit of salt or whatever, and that is a bit of an appetizer. However, not many of us think about adding the olive oil on top of the food after it cooked. I wasn't aware to start with, and the first time an Italian guy told me about it was quite recently, and he is very young, an exchange student from Italy who came to Sweden, and just by circumstances we met in a common kitchen, and he was cooking some chicken breasts and grilling them, and we were discussing a little bit about the Italian cooking and the way they eat they add olive oil. And then he said to me, yes, we do add olive oil, but we don't actually stack the food, the meat in olive oil. We just add it to the meat after it grilled. And that was something new for me. I never thought about using the oil this way. Obviously, I would have thought about adding it and making a vinaigrette, a little bit with vinegar, or maybe with lemon juice, and using in like a dressing, salad dressing in salads. That is normally what I was accustomed to. So at home and everywhere, we didn't use very heavy dressings in the salads, but we use this very simple combination to the salads: a little bit of oil, although it wasn't olive extra virgin cold press at that time. So a little bit of vinegar and or some kind of lemon juice, if we had lemons, because we didn't. But all about that maybe in another video. And so we didn't use any kind of heavy mayonnaises or ketchup sauces, any kind of this kind of very greasy, very processed, and everything was much simpler, and not as um, fat, not as nowadays people put lots of cream and all kind of sauces and added everywhere. And I saw this recipe on YouTube Shorts quite recently. I think it was even yesterday or the day before, and I it was like a bit like of combination between lasagna and pasta, uh, but it contained lots of meat, lots of cheese, and I think the combination is way too heavy. It contains way too much protein, unnecessarily amounts of fat, and I think keeping things much simpler is lots much better. I tend to not consider more than three ingredients in any single meal. Uh, well, partly because maybe I'm quite comfortable about, like, or I want to have things a bit simpler and not complicate existence. But also, I think the less we add um, is maybe better for our health. Um, and of course, there are people who like lots of sauces, lots of combinations, and I mean, it is up to everyone to do whatever they want. It's maybe a pleasure to develop some very complex recipes that take a long time to prepare. I certainly don't have, the disposition to do that. I just want to, and I don't like things to be very greasy either. So I try to stay away from ketchup and mayonnaises and that are made. I can make from scratch homemade mayonnaise from time to time, um, but I think they are too rich for my taste, and so I prefer things to be a little bit simpler to prepare. Like a couple of few ingredients, even in the salad, they don't have to uh, have all possible salads and other things. And I think salad leaves, tomato, some onion, or sometimes you can put some cucumber, or sometimes just do cucumber and tomatoes. Or you don't have always have to have like a full on with all kinds of vegetables and salads and dressings and God knows what. I think sometimes, I think it's good to vary the types of foods that you make. And with the salads, the same. Once we can make just salad with tomatoes and cucumbers. Sometimes you make with salad greens and leafy vegetables and tomatoes and onions and so on and so forth. But speaking of which, we have to think about variation and how we vary our food, and the fact that sometimes our diets are not very diverse. We maybe tend to eat kind of the same things all over day after day. And now I remember my days when I used to work in London, and people would go out at lunchtime and buy these sandwiches that were shaped as a triangle, and I used to call them triangles. And basically, they were just sandwiches made with bread, some kind of a salad leaf, and some kind of spread, and maybe bits of chicken or cheese, or there were different combinations, tuna, um, and so people used to eat those triangles at lunchtime, day after day, sitting in front of their computers and browsing the internet on their lunch break or whatever. So very little diversity there. So now thinking about food diversity and how we eat, I found this passage in the book and I wanted to read it to you. And it's about the foods in Asia, and what Dr. Lee says about them. So he said, the food traditions throughout Asia are notable in that they embody basic principles that are important for metabolic health and fighting body fat. So that might be a clue to answer one of my questions that I always think about in terms when I think about Asian people and how slim they are. And I don't necessarily have a feeling that they keep very strict diets as such. But I'm always amazed the fact that they seem to be naturally lean. That seems to be in their DNA, or something that it's some in the culture, and the fact that most of them are quite lean. So he continues. First is the variety of foods that is part of the culture. Eating diverse foods, especially fiber-rich vegetables, benefits your microbiome, which streamlines your metabolism. Second, many of the cooking methods used, stir-frying, simmering, stewing, and steaming, are healthier and less damaging to your metabolism than deep frying and grilling. Third are the condiments, which often include fermented foods that are probiotic in nature and a wide variety of sauces with spices like chili that activate your brown fat. And finally, the format of meals usually involves many small plates of food shared among a group, which increases the diversity of ingredients any diner can eat at each meal, and allows each individual to control their portion sizes. The communal nature of eating together also fosters a more relaxed pace for each meal, which helps to prevent overeating. This is a very nice paragraph, and I think very nicely and very concisely describes a few principles of eating as an Asian person. But there's something very simple that everyone can incorporate in their daily lives. So diversity indeed, to try to diversity what we eat and the way the at least try to eat more fiber-rich foods, more diverse vegetables and fruits. Obviously, that depends on the country or the place where we live and what is available to us. But I believe any supermarket would have quite a diverse range of fruits and vegetables. And that we should try and to eat in smaller portions, which is one of the things I remember from reading about Japanese style eating, um, which and the Hara Hachibu principle of the Okinawans, the people who live very, very long, healthy lives in their 100s in this blue zone in the archipelago of Okinawa, the southern archipelago of Japan. And but in general, Hara Hachibu being maybe something that is correlated with eating not until you're full. I think it's maybe something about a cultural value that you should leave some of the food on the plate and you shouldn't eat everything. In many cultures, maybe we feel that it's a cultural norm to eat until your belly is full and you have eaten everything from the plate, and that's the, oh, you had such a wonderful meal because you feel that you are stuffed with your food up to your neck and there is no much more place to eat, and that's something good. But actually, research shows us, and well, the evidence from the Okinawan people, from the Okinawan centenarians, shows us that it is better to eat only until we are 80% full, which is a bit hard to think, but just to think about it, that okay, you don't have to feel entirely that you explode with food. Just stop after a while and eat in small portions, and by doing that, it is much possible that you eat a bit less, and also to eat together and share with people, and that is very sociable thing to do. And I think when you do that, not only that you every person in the group can have something different to eat, and then when we share it together, you can get lots of different other foods. But I think that just the process of sharing food translates in our brain as sharing something more than food. I think it's about like sharing some kind of nice experience, bonding, and I think some oxytocin probably is being released, which might create a positive effect on our digestion. So we eat with more pleasure, and rather than just stuffing into our mouths like as much as we can. So we can learn a lot from different cultures. Obviously, we live in different environments. If you are from the US and even in Germany, the portions are huge. I was talking for a while ago with an exchange student from Japan, and he was telling me that when he first came to Europe, and even in Sweden, he was shocked about the size of the portions of food that are served. And well, I think it is true. People in the West or in the US are much bigger, and normally they would eat more than a shorter person from Asia. But even so, I think just being, I mean, unless you have a very physical job, you perhaps don't need to eat vast amounts of food. And And research shows that even if you overeat just 50 calories per day extra than you actually expend, uh, and over time that would accumulate, and that is how you can build excess weight on your body. And but about all of that, another time in another video. I see on my video clock that I already spent more than 20 minutes, so which is longer than I intended for this small video. So thank you for being with me. If you have any other comments or any other experiences, please share them in the comments. Feel free to subscribe, and see you next time. Bye.